Hell y'all, this is Kaiserredux, a mod for Hearts of Iron IV. It acts as a standalone expansion for Kaiserreich. It focuses on fun and interesting scenarios over realism and grounded lore. The Kaiserreich setting itself takes place in a world where the Central Powers won World War I. We're going to play as the Kingdom of Poland in Central Europe, who at the start of the mod is led by a Regency Council. We're greeted at the start by this event that tells us about the mod. After reading through this, let's go down and click on the ominous red text that says I want something more interesting to happen. We're taken to an event that just lists off all the meme mode content. We're not going to enable all of them. Instead, we'll just go with the one that mentions a neo-pagan Poland. Let's go to the handy built-in path guide that will tell us what we have enabled. We have basically turned on the Polish Rebirth League content, and we'll take full advantage of that. On the topic of national spirits, Poland has despised Regency, German industrial dominance, and Austrian-German squabbles. The Kingdom of Poland is the puppet of another country at the start. We gotta get rid of that as soon as possible because it limits us quite a bit. Looking at the military, we got 12 divisions, we don't have a navy because we're landlocked, and we have a small air force consisting of 2 air wings. Poland has tons of commanders, be they generals or field marshals, lots of choices to pick from here for when the army grows in size. Inspecting the military tech, we have up-to-date weapons, no motorized though, basic tanks, and when we go to the artillery, we have basic arty, then first level anti-air, and in the aircraft department, we have basic fighters, interwar tactical bombers, and basic close air support. The situation of Poland in 1936, it was made again after centuries of partition in 1916 as Russia collapsed. The election of the Polish king was initially postponed as Austro-Hungary and the German Empire argued with one another, and that explains why we still have the Regency going on. The Regency Council essentially acts as a rubber stamp for the royal Sejm, with popularity for the Regency at an all-time low. Many are asking, what is next? We'll begin the focus tree with a focus that will take 210 days, that's quite long, named the Great Debate. There was an assassination in Russia, but in Poland the Great Debate must go on about who shall be the next King of Poland. The Polish Rebirth League has been gaining influence. It was formed from various Christian organizations in the past, but recently it has been seeing fringe Christian radicals and veterans joining it. The LOP, as it is known, seeks to get rid of the Regency as they find it pro-German. The Berlin stock market crashes. That will most likely be bad for us. And in other news, there is a war in India involving Afghanistan. Black Monday, the economic disaster that started in Germany, lands in Poland. This isn't good at all, as it may cause some instability. The economy falls. We got 2 choices here. Let's go with the one on the top that says pressure the Regency to do something. German monopolies crash in the aftermath of Black Monday. We will use this opportunity to seize their assets and get rid of the German industrial dominance national spirit. Romania, who went to war with the Austrian Empire over land controlled by Hungary, signs a peace deal with the Austrians after a few battles. Tragedy happens in the city of Warsaw. There was a bombing. It is believed that the Polish Underground Anarchist Party is responsible. Adam Doboshinsky and a few of his followers marched through Poland. The march ends with a skirmish nearby the town of Myślanicka as his group tried to forcibly disarm some syndicalists, and then the local police got involved. The Regency seems detached from reality and not paying attention to the daily happenings in the nation. Let's go with the bottom option here that says simply, it's hopeless. The Regency and Sejm are in danger. Let's make it so the government collapses, even though we will lose some base stability. With the collapse of the government, we're no longer in the German Empire's faction, and it also must mean we are no longer a puppet. Chaos in the countryside. Different factions are vying for control of the nation. Of the 3 choices to pick from here, let's go with the LOP or the Polish Rebirth League. With the decision made, the National Populist Polish Rebirth Council has become the new leading force in Poland. Because we enabled the meme option that turned on the LOP content, we unlocked a whole new part of the focus tree that will start with Reborn Through Faith. Then we'll complete a letter for Doboshinsky, convince Hadecja, and something to do with the Teutons after we do the convince Hadetia focus. Germany officially abandons Poland. The Polish Rebirth Council has declared full independence from them, but this has largely gone unnoticed as the German Empire has its own domestic issues to handle currently. Benito Mussolini comes to power in the southern half of the Italian peninsula, but perhaps more relevant to us is the rise of the Russian state in the east. While not a member of the LLP, Adam Doboshinsky saw them in a favorable light, and after receiving a letter from the Polish Rebirth Council, he will be made the new leader of the government in this, quote, Holy Poland. News from the Low Countries. The nation of Wallonia joins the Reichspakt. The Netherlands joins the same faction that the rest of its neighbors are in. This is a victory for the German Empire as they have got themselves some new allies. Carrying on in the focus tree, let's do integrate the patriots, then a focus that will purge monarchist and syndicalist sympathizers that will cost us greatly, manpower-wise, defend the newborn state, and after all that, we will go down and convene the Holy Council. Old glories rediscovered. Paintings about the Battle of Grunwald and the Prussian homage are being sold on a massive scale, as well as other works depicting Polish victories. The country is becoming more and more opposed to Germany. The 20th anniversary of Polish independence is celebrated, and we get 10 political power from this event. That one focus took a big cut of our manpower. It would take some time to recover, and until then, our army growth will be very slow. In the north, Norway has decided to join the Third Internationale, that is, the French and British faction. A Polish radio station expands and becomes the strongest in Europe with a power of 120 kilowatts. We will get 20 political power out of this. Józef Pilsudski, a influential figure in Poland, dies, and we will lose him as a field marshal. Józef Beck, a friend of the late marshal, promises to uphold his dream of an intermarium. War in Scandinavia. Sweden, for whatever reason, has decided to declare war on the neighboring kingdom of Finland. The Holy Council takes place. We have 3 factions who each have their own idea for the future of Poland. Let's side with the KGCH, or Cavaliers of Jesus Christ, who want a strong Catholic state based on the ideals of crusading and distributism. The Cavaliers' triumphant focus is complete. We get a new flag, and the country name changes to Crusader Poland, and also Adam Doboshinsky becomes the leader of the nation. Doboshinsky historically was a right-wing politician associated with the Camp of Great Poland and the National Party. He criticized both capitalism and communism. His views on the national economy were shaped by the works of the Christian thinkers St. Augustine and Thomas Aquinas. He believed the basis of a new economic regime should be trade corporations of both employers and employees. We now have access to the Cavaliers' political path, so let's do unity in Christ, then go down and do quest for the Grail, then go up from there and complete the wisdom of the church. After that, procession to Wawel Cathedral, new nightly orders to the right of the one about the cathedral, and going right again will complete the land of your youth, and going down from the land of your youth we'll finish off this big list of focuses and complete God Mater Deet Polonia. With tensions rising, the military is reviewing old fortresses to put back into service. One in question is Modlin Fortress. Let's renovate it, and that will give us 2 land forts in Warsaw. Russia announces her ambitions. This could be a sign of wars to come, and will probably put all of its neighbors on high alert. The Russians march into Central Asia, and in another part of the world, syndicalist revolutionaries are doing things in Switzerland. The search for the Holy Grail is a success. A team of archaeologists located in a chapel in a land that once was part of Poland. The radio network we got an event about earlier expands again by building another permanent radio station in Warsaw. For this special occasion, we will get 20 political power. To the south in Turkey, the declaration of the Sublime Ottoman Federation takes place. It was a boon for us when the Poles found the Holy Grail, but now after the procession to Wawel Cathedral, we're going to annex Galicia, Lodomeria without a fight. The new territory we just got was under the Austrian crown, but too bad for them, as it has become part of Crusader Poland along with all of its manpower. In our expansion, we also took over the Duchy of Bukovina. Romania wants to buy it, but we'll decline that offer and retain it all for ourselves. Bulgaria in the Balkans runs into some issues as the Belgrade Pact has been formed, and declared war on them. The Swiss joined the Third Internationale. That makes the border a little more awkward for the Germans, I guess. We are almost done with the Cavaliers' focuses. Let's do distributist economy. After that one, the land of saints and kings. Then a focus to the right of that one with a Elder Scrolls reference in the graphic art, church militant, and the cherry on top after completing those three, enthrone the righteous king. We nearly have 1 million manpower now, and they are going to be put to good use in our quickly growing military. The Aurelian Interim Republic rebels against the Austrian Empire and starts fighting them. Slovenia emerges and helps Illyria. I did not notice this until now, but the Austrians have Albania on their side in this conflict. The Kingdom of Serbia joins the Moscow Accord. The Accord is unsurprisingly the Russian faction. The Dutch East Indies joins the German faction, but the Netherlands proper has left it because the Dutch Revolution took place and that made the Batavian Commune a thing. The enthronization of Christ the King. Leading archbishops Adam Doboshinsky and representatives from the major knightly orders gather at Wawel Cathedral and hold a ceremony that crowns Jesus Christ as the eternal King of Poland and the Polish people. Christ the King is the country leader now, and he has a very good trait. For some context, of course, Jesus Christ is the central figure of Christianity, but also Poland is a country where Catholicism is a big deal, and it has been described as Rome's most faithful daughter as of recording. More recently, though, Jesus Christ was actually crowned as the King of Poland in 2016. After doing all that political stuff, we're going to complete some focuses that will affect our industry and recovery from Black Monday, beginning with the new Central Industrial Region, and then restructure the Bank of Poland, reintroduce the Zloty, the State Road Fund, Shivla and Grauman Works, and after those four, private research initiatives. Illyria and Slovenia were defeated in their attempted rebellion. As a result, their land has been carved up between Austria and Hungary. Also, out of that old territory, Montenegro was created. Let's complete some military focuses, and those will be the next war's army, New Age cavalry, the new winged hussars, and an offensive fighting force. Then we'll go to another part of the tree after that and complete modernized Congress Poland and the new Polish worker. Finland is victorious. They took over Sweden and going to the faction map mode. Yep, they joined the Reichspakt, so that's going to be a very strong presence for that faction in Scandinavia. The Kaiserreich equivalent of the Second World War has begun. The Commune of France declared war on the German Empire, and it's all thanks to the Alsace Ultimatum. Denmark got itself into the Reichspakt. This means Norway is diplomatically isolated from the rest of its neighbors, except for Britain, who they may have to rely on for support in this war. Russian boots march west to Germany. The Russian state has attacked Germany and its allies in Eastern Europe, and this will open up another front for the Reichspakt to handle. Crusader Poland has a focus I've been saving for a while. It will give us a war goal on the German Empire when it is done. I imagine the Germans are overextended with all of these combatants, and so it will be the perfect opportunity for us to strike. When we do begin the offensive into Germany, we will have to guard our territory from their allies in Eastern Europe. With that said, though, the most attention will be put on the Western advance. The war has started. We're going to go in and take the initiative and try to grab as much of Prussia as possible. The opposition has been pretty light so far. If it remains like this, we'll be able to push inward and capture the cities of Dresden, Leipzig, and Berlin. They haven't called in Lithuania or White Ruthenia in yet, so we're going to take the soldiers we have in those countries' borders and send them to Germany. They called in one of those aforementioned countries just as the troops started to be moved away. I think it's only a matter of time before they drag in the other one too. German divisions are beginning to show up in force, and in the east we'll have a small group of our own divisions take out Lithuania and White Ruthenia since they are busy fighting the Russians anyway. We continue to battle the German Empire and sort of cut off the Russians by taking all available land routes they could have used to get into the country of the Kaiser. They won't take our military access, but they seem to be taking the long way around by going through Finland, Sweden, and I imagine Denmark. We are making some progress, but if things don't speed up, the Russians may beat us to Berlin if they manage to get through Copenhagen. Berlin falls to Crusader Poland troops. The capital of the once mighty empire is under our control. That's just salt in the wound, isn't it? The Japanese have decided to attack the German Empire. The Austrians, sensing the time is right, in some strange way, decides to help the Germans, and that will cause them to start fighting a good amount of Germany's enemies. We secured the eastern part of the enemy's territory, and now we are making our way to the western part of their country. A lot of peace treaties are signed all over the world. That is because the Reichspakt, the German faction, has collapsed. Also, the Kaiser may have fled somewhere. Eastern Europe is partitioned between the Moscow Accord and Crusader Poland, though with that said, Russia got most of it. The peace treaty for the German Empire itself has arrived. We have a large amount of the war score overall, so we'll be able to take a lot of land. With that out of the way, the Austrian Empire is left, and they seem to be beset from almost all sides, be it the Poles, Swiss, French, Romanians, or Serbians. Because of peace treaty shenanigans, we now have a presence in Malaysia and Indochina. Thanks to a couple countries, we made puppets. Austria and company are losing hard. To be fair, they're fighting a lot of different countries. It won't be too long before they are defeated. They're finished, and so Crusader Poland can sit as a country that dominates a good part of Central Europe. I'm going to end the video here. If you enjoyed the mod, make sure to check it out in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Have an awesome day. I'll see you later. Bye.